Tonight, we are talking David Koepp. We're talking about the Entertainment Weekly recent shares today with the pictures. There's tons of news. There's so much to discuss. I am Brad Jost, and this is Let's Talk Jurassic. Welcome back, everybody, to another stream here from the Jurassic Park Podcast. Thank you to all of our returning viewers out there. Welcome back. If you're new here, this is what we do each and every week. We're talking Jurassic, especially the latest news, which there is a lot to discuss here today. And for all you lurkers out there, hi, I see you. I'm talking to you right now. Glad to have you all here. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. I'm pretty excited about this one because there was so much big information that came out this past week or so in regards to Jurassic World Rebirth. So stay tuned for all of that discussion. But first, let's go over to our website to discuss the things that we've got going on in our neck of the woods. All right, so let's go to JurassicParkPodcast.com and you'll see this week's episode, Jurassic World Dominion to Rebirth. We talk about those connections, all the details that might be interconnected between these two movies. Is there any details that are connected? I don't know. I'm not sure, but you got to listen to find out. There's a lot of good stuff. And this is part 2 of a 2-part series where myself and Tom Jurassic look at those details between Dominion and Rebirth. We also discuss the novels, how they might connect to Rebirth. We discuss Battle at Big Rock, Camp Cretaceous, Chaos Theory. So there's a lot of discussion about what connects, what doesn't. So definitely go check it out when you get the chance. That is over on JurassicParkPodcast.com, but you can also find it on any of your favorite podcast platforms out there. So definitely go check it out. What else did we do this week? Anything else? So you know what? I was going to add this news from the David Koepp stuff in there, but you know what? I was just like, let's just do it here on the live stream this week. So we're going to be doing it here today. Like I said, David Koepp news. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about the latest from Entertainment Weekly, which was a lot of stuff about Jurassic World Rebirth. But is there anybody here today? Sorry, I kind of didn't get a chance to share this one out to the world. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see the link, come out here and chat for a little bit. But let's share. We got Steven here. What's up, Steven? And we got Spinorex123. Those new Rebirth images have me so hyped. Yeah, absolutely. It was a nice thing to wake up to this morning. Actually, there was one other thing that we might be able to discuss. I don't know. But yeah, those images had me so hyped. I was like, you know, just casually just hanging around, doing some stuff. And I'm like, oh, we got new Rebirth stuff to talk about. So, oh, and plus, I didn't put it out there, but there is a new podcast out on the feed currently. I didn't put it on the website, but it's out on the podcast feeds. So if you want to, you can find it. But it's just a lot of what we're going to be talking about here today. It's kind of like one of those breaking news episodes. So I put that out on the feed. And then we got Muzamil here. When you put the stills and Mahershala's characters side by side, they perfectly represent, that's how it always starts. But later there's running and screaming. Yeah, I think I get it. Because he's like, And then, hey, come on, get me out of here. So yeah, what's up, Carlos? How you doing? Excited to have you here. And yeah, these pictures, dude, they're so good. Abdul's here. What's up? How you doing? Good to have you here. But we got a lot to discuss. So it's like one of those Willy Wonka things. We got so much to do in so little time. Strike that reverse. No, I think I said it the right way the first time. All right, so let's go over to the new film we're going to be discussing. Let's start off. We'll get to the pictures. We'll get to everything over there. But I do want to discuss some stuff about David Koepp first, because David Koepp was out there talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, David Koepp wrote Jurassic Park, a lot of other really great stuff. And he wrote, well, he didn't write Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? He did the movie script and stuff like that, but he didn't write it. Obviously, that's Michael Crichton, but he works hand in hand with Michael Crichton, and that's a really cool thing. And he did the Lost World too, which is more of like a, hey, I wrote this, because the Lost World is not anything like the movie or the book in the movie. So he wrote Jurassic World Rebirth, and he talked with The Discourse, which I assumed was a podcast, but it was like hard to find exactly when like searching for it. But I was able to track it down here on the playlist. I guess it's maybe something they do. But they chatted with David Koepp for a little bit, and it's this actually, like, this article here doesn't summarize everything that I want to discuss, but yeah, it's funny that they're just like, hey, here's a picture of Steven Spielberg. We talked with David Koepp this week, but here's Spielberg. And oh, by the way, happy birthday, Steven Spielberg. We got to shout that out right away. What are we doing? Happy birthday. My guy. It's the dude. It's him. Hello, I'm Steven Spielberg from Orlando. That's where he's from, right? Yeah, but happy birthday to Steven Spielberg. But yes, let's talk about this news. David Koepp says Jurassic World Rebirth returns to the tone of Jurassic Park. So David Koepp did a little bit. Yes, I am streaming, Ryan. Are you watching my stream? Yeah, so he talked about the series and how the series tend to change after 3. So I thought that was a kind of an interesting quote. I don't know if it says it here. Yeah, so he said, it was a ball. I had such a nice time on it, and I hope people like the movie because the series tended to change after 3. And it felt like, okay, so let's change our tone. I don't think... I'd have to go back because I don't know if he actually says what they quoted as the series tended to change after 3. I think he said the series tend to change after 3, which I think is different than the series tended. I think there's a big difference there. So, and when I think he says the series tend to change after 3, I think he means, yeah, you know, with these kinds of big movies, they tend to change after 3 movies, and then they're on to something else, like Star Wars, for instance. Got 3 movies, and then, all right, we're on to something else. Indiana Jones, it's like, okay, we got 3 movies, and then we're going to wait a long time. Then we got, then they're older. And then we got Jurassic Park 3, and then, after 14 years, it's like, all right, the tone's changed. But the way that they wrote it with the series tended to change after 3, it's kind of like, oh, after Jurassic Park 3, there was a big change and stuff, or even after Jurassic World Dominion 3, or not Dominion 3, but Dominion, it tends to change. But I think it's just like, what, after 3 movies, these tend to change, so let's go ahead and change it ourselves. To which he, just changes it right back to the beginning, it sounds like. So he says the tone is akin to the very first movie. So yeah, that's interesting. It's such an interesting thing to see the images that have been floating out, and some behind the scenes stuff that is not always officially out there or anything, but and especially some potential concept art things that are floating around. From everything you kind of see surrounding this movie, the tone does not really seem to be returning to Jurassic Park. So I feel like it's really, really interesting that they're like, yo, we want everybody to know that this is just like, Jurassic Park. We are going back to that kind of vibe. So I'll be interested to see how akin to Jurassic Park it really is. He called it a mission movie. Specifically, he likes, stories that are driven by bottles, by containment. And I think as a Jurassic fan, you can almost like take that certain ways, driven by bottles and containment. But what he means is kind of like, it's like actually, let me, I think the phrase is right here. So when he says it's driven by bottles, he doesn't mean like, yo, this is like a Barbasol can or something. Like, he likes stories that are based off Barbasol cans or like a soda bottle or something. He means like in film or TV, like here's a definition here from Wikipedia for episodic television. A bottle episode or bottle show is an episode produced cheaply and restricted in scope to use as few regular cast members, effects, and sets as possible. Bottle episodes are usually shot on sets built for other episodes, frequently the main interior sets for a series, and consist largely of dialogue and scenes for which no special preparations are needed. They are commonly used when one script has fallen through and another one has to be written on short notice, or because of budgetary constraints. Bottle episodes have also been used for dramatic effect. I can't say that. And the limited setting and cast allow for a slower pace and deeper exploration of character traits and motives. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff in just that definition of like a bottle episode. And a lot that kind of feels like it really parallels what has happened here. Because I would be one to say that, you know, as far as Dominion was concerned, like they made that movie and it really, really felt like, and all the signs were pointing to, they're going in a direction with Kayla, with Ramsey, and they're going to be passing the torch to these people and doing something. And then, I don't know what it was, but based off of this definition here, it feels like that's kind of exactly the same. It's like, these are commonly used when a script has fallen through or another one has to be written on short notice. And what's one thing that we notice about Jurassic World Rebirth? Oh, yo, this had to be made in short notice because we just found out about this at the beginning of the year, and we got to get this thing out by next year. So it feels very, like, effective, what he's trying to relay here. The fact that it's a bottle episode. It's like, you know, it's a bottle film. It's just, you know, it's based off this containment. So it's a contained story, not like dinosaurs in a containment or a containment unit of some sort. Maybe there's a lot of that, but this is more so like, hey, it's a very contained story. Maybe it's a budgetary constraints, like this definition says. Could be some budgetary stuff, like not a lot of animatronics, things like that. But I do love the idea that, like, hey, this is a lot of dramatic effect stuff, like limited set, limited cast, which feels true, right? It feels like a smaller cast, and it said in this definition consists of characters that are like, you know, maybe not the main characters or anything like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. That just a straight up definition from Wikipedia feels like it makes so much sense for Jurassic World Rebirth. And he did mention in his conversation that this will be a limited team and a thing that they have to accomplish. So, again, limited team, limited cast, maybe budget, maybe short notice, all this good stuff. All right, so he also mentioned, let me just take a sip here. It's fun to go back into that world of great adventure, backed by real science and some real cool new characters. So, always nice to hear some real science involved in this. I really wonder how much real science, like what is the science that's happening here? It's we're using, maybe there's paleontology, right? So we got Dr. Henry Loomis, who is, you know, he's using real science for his discoveries or whatever he's doing in this movie. I don't know. And then you've got the science involved with taking dinosaur DNA and curing some sort of human ailment of some sort with pharmaceutical techniques. So is that one real science? I don't know. I'm not sure, but maybe, I don't know. Are those missions happening right now? Like, is there like some sort of, you know, an animal out there that like, yo, we need to get that DNA. Who knows? But I don't know where the real science really fits into this, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. And he also said, you don't often get the chance to go back or just to have a blank slate and say, what do you want to do? So that's nice. You basically starting fresh, and that there were no real franchise expectations other than dinosaurs. So no franchise expectations other than dinosaurs. And what we know is, like, this franchise has dinosaurs. Those dinosaurs are out in the wild. Maybe could he be referring to, like, particular dinosaurs that have franchise expectations? Maybe. Kinds of dinosaurs, maybe that's more so what he means, or just the fact that there's dinosaurs in the wild and those were the franchise expectations. That's probably what it means. So to me, that statement really just reads like, yeah, we don't have to really, mention anything else really other than just these dinosaurs. So I found that interesting. And my whole, speaking of, hey, what are these connections between Dominion and Rebirth? I don't know. Are there any? Because David Koepp's like, there's not really any expectations for the franchise other than just, hey, there's these dinosaurs. But I did get a little hope when he mentioned this next part, because he actually said, I actually wrote a list of our 9 commandments. He talked about Chuck Jones with like the Looney Tunes and like Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner kind of thing, that there's like specific things that they need to do in order for those cartoons to work. So he wrote a few. He wrote 9 for Jurassic, which I thought was awesome. And I need to know all 9. David Koepp, let us know all 9. It's crazy. You only gave us 3, dude. 3. David Koepp says, the events of the previous 6 movies cannot be contradicted or denied. Retcons are no fun. There we go. I love that. That's great. He's taken a very different approach than, like, what's his name? David Connolly? I'm even blanking right now. No, was it? I forget what his name was. Derek, that's right. Derek Connolly, who's like, I don't even think I've seen them all, or whatever he had said. He had said something weird about like Jurassic before, making Jurassic World, and it was like, oh, dude, do you even care about the movies or not? So to have David Koepp out here saying, yo, we can't deny or contradict anything, I think that's pretty awesome. That's fantastic. So he is not going to be retconning anything, and I wonder how deep those retcon. Those thoughts do go about retcons. Does this go as deep as Camp Cretaceous? Or, I don't know, something like the evolution of Claire? Or like, how deep are we going with some of this stuff? I don't know. I'll be interested to find out, but I hope he doesn't retcon anything that maybe the film team would be like, it's okay if we retcon something from that TV show. I hope they don't have that mentality. So hopefully it feels like he's like, but he had mentioned the previous 6 movies. So that gets me a little worried that it's like, hey, this is the thing that we care about, these previous 6 movies, and maybe not anything else. So I'll be interested to find out. There's no mention of, in that short battle at Big Rock, stuff like that. So, but it feels like Chaos Theory, Camp Cretaceous, like especially Chaos Theory, really honing in on that continuity and doing some cool stuff with it. So hopefully we don't stray away from what they're doing as well. But that's pretty cool. Commandment number 1. Commandment number 2, it sounds like, is humor is oxygen. So it's necessary for these movies. And that's very clear. And I've said this before, but like Jurassic Park is way funnier than you think it is. Even if you're watching this and you're a huge fan, that movie's way funnier than anybody gives it credit for. Everybody likes to talk about how ultra serious these movies are, and like how, Jurassic World is like a Marvelification. Is that a word? Marvelification of, I'm just making that up on the spot, but I feel like that's something I've heard, of the Jurassic franchise. And I'm like, dude, there's always been jokes and silly, goofy stuff in these movies from the beginning. And, The Lost World particularly has some really great dialogue that is funny, like really funny stuff. So I appreciate that. Humor is oxygen. So it's absolutely necessary for these characters to have fun. The third one was science must be real. So there you go. So whatever the science is in this movie, it's got to be real, right? But that's only 3 commandments. He had said 9. 9 commandments. I don't know. Why 9? You didn't want to go the Bible's route? You couldn't do that one more? Was that just the Chuck Jones? What was Chuck Jones doing? Why did he only do 9? What's one to 10? Is it? We can't do 10. They've already done 10. If you Google 10 commandments, that's going to come up. If you Google 9, Chuck Jones is going to come up. He should have been like, yo, we got 8. We got 8 on lock. We're doing 8 commandments. If you want to Google that, you can find our 8 commandments. But that was, for the most part, a lot of the chunk of this interview. It was very short. So me talking about it, already way longer than David Koepp talked about it in that episode. But there was one other part that the interviewer had said, like, sadly, no animatronic dinosaurs this time around. And David said, not this time. They were talking about visiting the set. David Koepp had mentioned, he'd gone to London 30 years after going to LA and seeing Jurassic Park on a set. It smelled the same, stuff like that. And he said, sadly, no animatronic dinosaurs this time around. And David's like, not this time. So that sucks. That definitely sucks. Could that be budgetary constraints? Short notice? Couldn't make them? Did a script fall through at one point, and we got to get this one by David Koepp out there? It's like our tried and true guy. Let's get David Koepp on the scene. So I love what I'm hearing, though. David Koepp really seems to be saying all the right things, and I appreciate that. It really sounds like he's on the right path for what we need to see as Jurassic fans. So I appreciate all of that. And I want to know those other commandments. We've got 6 other commandments to learn from David Koepp. Are there other ones? Hopefully. But yeah, that is the Discourse podcast with David Koepp. We got some other stuff to discuss. Let me just see if anybody else is mentioning anything about this article. Muslim, I really dig that first commandment. Yeah, me too. That's a good one. That's really good. It just makes it feel like he cares, and it matters what these other movies have done. And saying like the previous 6 movies, I don't know if it's like, look, you know what, we gotta stick to it. That's what they did. I don't know if it was like that was the vibe. It's like, yeah, they made these movies. Especially those last 3, we made them. We got to stick to it, so we're not going to change anything. So I do find that good, though, that whether people like them or not, they matter. They're not going to be denied or contradicted in any way, and they're not going to be retconned, so that's good. Yeah, and he is Gareth Edwards is really good with CG, of course, for sure. But with all the conversation about, hey, this is going to be very much like the first movie. To me, it's so tough because Jurassic Park changed the film industry massively, right? It massively changed everything by creating these CG dinosaurs, right? That's the biggest thing that came out of that movie was we did this, and we're going to talk about this again here in the next part because they made it, and then it was like an arms race after that, as Gareth Edwards mentions in the next article. But But I do think the reason it excelled so much was the blending, the ability to have both animatronics and CG, and to be able to do both so incredibly well that it was so believable. So to not have any animatronic dinosaurs is certainly a disappointment. Jurassic World didn't have any either, except for the one, the Apatosaurus. But like at that point, like, yeah, whatever. Like it didn't. The Apatosaurus was very cool to have, but it was also painted over so much with CG that you might as well have just had a CG one. Like at this point, some of these actors are just so good at interacting with nothing that like it almost doesn't matter. But there is, to me, there's mostly a tangible difference to having something real in front of you. There are elements that are very good, like very hard to tell. But I think there's something special about having both. And yeah, Danny here says, no retcons means the dinos migrating to the equator shouldn't feel like undoing what Dominion did then. Yeah, I mean, how are they going to get around that? Because it certainly is like undoing what Dominion did. Like, I don't think there's any way around that. So I'm not really sure what they could say that would be like, okay, I guess let's just run with it. But that's all it's going to be. It's just going to be like, hey, we're not going to retcon it. We're just moving in a different direction. And that's I think what they're going to say about the dinosaurs migrating or dying off or whatever. We're just moving in a different direction. We're not changing it. Dinosaurs are and will still be in the wild somewhere, but not the way we originally intended. So while it won't be a retcon, it will be a change that is very obvious to us what had happened. So Carlos, yeah, you're bummed about the no animatronics. Part of me understands with the time frame of the announcement of the movie to release. Yeah, it stinks that the animatronics won't be involved here. But what are you gonna do? I mean, hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it's more like the under the truck when Owen was under the truck in Jurassic World. That Indominus Rex like lower jaw looked so incredibly real. It really looked like there was an animatronic Indominus Rex head there on set. But there wasn't, which is the crazy part. And hopefully it looks more like that and less like, the T-Rex looking like kind of directly at the camera and like at Blue at the end of the fight, because that scene looks terrible. Joey says, Rebirth teaser during the Christmas football game? Maybe. So trailer track, if I believe, I think they had mentioned, let me see if I can bring that up. I don't really know where it was, so I'll try to find it real quick. I assume it was on the health site. Oh, come on. It's not letting me look without logging in. See if I can do it real quick. But what I'm trying to get at is I feel like trailer track is obviously got very good track records with trailers. And they had mentioned something about I thought they had mentioned it. I'm not seeing it here. Here it is. All right, let me go over to this real quick. Emmy here says no Jurassic trailer in December. Trailer track says Super Bowl 2025. So that's probably what we're looking at for the trailer. Now, does that mean that there's no teaser? I don't know. To me, a teaser is a little bit different, but maybe not for them. But like today, for instance, right here, this James Gunn tease for the Superman trailer that debuts what day is it? Yeah, tomorrow. I feel like I've already seen it because there's been so much hype. You know, on Monday, James Gunn reveals like a little bit of the score with like a moving poster. And then yesterday we got this teaser for the teaser trailer. And then today or not yesterday, whenever this was, Tuesday, maybe. And then today we got like, a teaser for the teaser trailer, wherever it was. I don't know. This thing. So just hyping it up for tomorrow. And every time it like ends, it's like, oof, that is like emotionally feeling like it's making me feel good. And I want that for Jurassic. I want it to feel like, man, that's a cool thing that I want to get excited for all week long leading up to that trailer. So hopefully we get something like that. I'm not sure if they're going to do the same kind of deal, but would be nice. Would be nice. So AHQ, I don't necessarily think that the animatronic quality is not as good. The animatronic quality is far superior. Like, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like, they can do animatronics for anything, anywhere, and they look incredible. I think more so what you probably are seeing is the fact that you don't like the way that it was filmed. Because I think certainly there's ways of going about, like, filming maybe that scene in Jurassic World Dominion that maybe could look a little bit cooler than how it looked in Jurassic Park. But I think that Giga animatronic was pretty incredible, pretty great. And like, there's like touring shows that have animatronics that look just incredible. So yeah, but hey Maddox, what's going on? What are you guys doing? Just streaming. What about you? I'm just chilling, just sitting here talking about Jurassic. But yeah, let's move on to our next topic, which is, where is it? Entertainment Weekly talked about Jurassic World Rebirth and gave us a bunch of pictures, 4 to be exact, and a lot of new information from Gareth Edwards himself. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into this one. So there's a lot in here, so let's kind of go through it. Geography in this movie described as very primeval, very cool. A lot of information about, like, hey, the set was very dangerous, whether that was poison snakes or, giant spiders, or the ocean was very deadly to the point where Gareth Edwards doesn't want to shoot on it anymore because it's just so difficult. It sounds like there was a lot of like near-death experiences and things were very scary. And it's like, let's not tell the actors how scary this actually is. So I found that kind of interesting. But that was like the most, the biggest part of the intro here. It's just kind of setting up how intense this movie could be. And here's the first picture. Let's take a look at this one. We've got Betcher. Can anybody confirm how to say his name? Is it Betcher or Becker? I'm not too sure. But yeah, so that's the guy there in the back. So the other day, I think it was, I forgot to post, I was making something before and I forgot to post it. Yeah, dude, there was a picture from Vanity Fair a few weeks ago that had said, like, here's Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. And it was definitely a guy that was not Mahershala Ali. And it was this guy, Betcher Sylvain. So there he is. It's definitely him. They just did not want to say it was him previously, or maybe Vanity Fair was just guessing. I don't know. A little rude. But you got Jonathan Bailey here. And he's looking cool, looking as Fiero as possible with glasses. But yeah, looking good. And yes, Joey reminds me of Grant in JP3 for sure. He's got that like, rough flannel Grant shirt with the same tones and everything. It feels like the exact kind of same tones. So very much digging that. It almost looks like this other guy has the same shirt, but just like ripped. So he's like, I don't want these sleeves anymore. But man, really sucks that they got to be wading through this water with poisonous snakes in there. But interesting. What's he got back there? Just those like hiking sticks, like hiking poles, maybe? I don't know. Looks like it. It's got a water bottle, maybe. Nice backpack. I feel like we got one of those in my house here. He's got a vest. The vests continue. Still got vests. So they have not died off yet. But let's see what else we got over here. What do we have here? We've got Scarlett Johansson towing a little bag and a briefcase of some sort. But yeah, it looks like she maybe has like. Is that like some sort of... Oh, is that the rifle maybe? Or is that... Yeah, I think that's the rifle. It looks like you got that glass container like right there maybe. And then the rest of the rifle, I guess. That's what I'm going to assume. Either that or it's like some sort of like radio antenna thing. I don't know. But she's got the stuff probably like towed to behind her back or something just while they're wading through the water on like some bag that's floating. But this to me seems to be this briefcase that's probably for the dinosaur DNA. So very cool picture. More talk about this back to basics approach. So, let's see what else. Anything else there? One thing I did appreciate was that they're like, you didn't need to really go back to basics and kind of redo things because it was doing pretty well as it was. So I appreciate that. But they're trying to recapture that Steven magic. Happy birthday, Steven. Real locations, less blue screen. Pretty simple but compelling story with fresh leads. And I like this next part. Yeah, we'll get there, Maddox. We're not there yet. Not in that picture. Yeah, definitely not in that picture. So Gareth says, I can't speak for Universal, but it did feel like a new trilogy in a way. Edward says, I'm not sure what their plans are, but I feel like it felt like the beginning of a brand new chapter in this franchise. To me, it's a giant love letter to Steven Spielberg and his earlier films. There are moments in this movie that remind me very much of Jaws. It's like the little greatest hits of all aspects of his films that I loved growing up as a child. It's essentially a little adventure odyssey across this island, a survival story, really. So yeah, that sounds all very good. Great that he feels like this was the start of a new trilogy. I would assume so, but who knows? Like I was saying, I kind of hope that they do some fresh things from time to time and not just go, all right, we're starting a trilogy. Here's these same few characters are going to keep going. So hopefully we get some freshness from time to time. Maybe one or two characters crossing over or something. But yeah, again, it feels like an adventure story. I think he said something like that. Yeah, adventure across the island, whatever island it is, a survival story. I like that idea. Like a lot of great things. It's like we're stuck here on this part. We have to get to the other part, whether that's the part where the radio station is or where the dock is or wherever something is. We got to go get to that thing. And they go into more kind of like rehash the synopsis a little bit. Talking more about the present day planet is inhospitable and that these dinosaurs are now dying out. So that is, that's some more confirmation that they're not just migrating. They are literally just dying out. It's not working. Whatever the case is, I hope it's really explained well. I hope it's explained well. Because to have them just die out, man, it really stinks. Yep, and the big dinosaur, all that good stuff. Here's another image. They are inside their ship. You can tell it looks like the inside of a ship. One thing I noticed over here. Let's see, what does that say? OMC, or is it ACWO? Probably ACWO or A. What? How would you write that? I don't know. Trying to read it upside down. But there is a container here. This seems to be some sort of like storage container for the DNA. I'm assuming it's got a nice little LED display there, and almost looks like a GoPro right there. That's kind of weird. But I like that there's like a touch screen looking thing down here on this table. To me, that looks like a table that they're like swiping on to do all the stuff. Who knows? Got a coffee maker, maybe a shirt hanging up, something else. I don't know. Some other stuff back there, but is that like a Jurassic Park kite over there? I don't know. But they're very serious. I don't know where she's looking, but he is like staring straight at her eyes, and she's like, I can't look in your eyes, Fierro. What is he holding? Is that like a parachute? Got a lot of little strings over here. I don't know. Is he giving some Billy vibes here? What's he doing? But she is described as Special Ops ex-CIA type. And she has a sibling-like bond with Duncan Kincaid. That's surprising to hear. The fact that they're, kind of sibling-like relationship. The letters could be flipped upside down. That's why I was going like, I don't know if you noticed, but I was like going like this. I was trying to like look at it upside down. It wasn't working for me. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. Could it be the name of the pharmaceutical company? Maybe. If I hold it, no, it's still flipped. Anyway, so Duncan Kincaid is kind of like the Ahab of this movie, Captain Ahab, and Dr. Henry Loomis, Jonathan Bailey, is out of his depth in terms of the military element of this mission. He's very comfortable on digs and expeditions, but not in life and death risks that Kincaid and Zora are getting into. Feels a lot like Jaws trio, Brody, Hooper, and Quint, which is cool. And he says that it's a triangle between three different overlapping characters. There's a lot of fun between the three of them that really popped out to me. It's less of a love triangle and much more of a competitive, who's the alpha of the group? So I appreciate that. I think that's really cool, the fact that we're getting people doing their jobs and there was a bit of the love triangle. There was absolutely a love triangle, I think, in Jurassic Park. So I thought we were getting back to the tone of Jurassic Park. What happened? We're straying. There was definitely a little bit of a love triangle there between Ian and Ellie and Grant. There's like the whole scene where Malcolm kind of like asks like if she's taken and stuff, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, sorry. So yeah, but I appreciate that. It's not just like, we're gonna crescendo in this big kiss at the end or something like that. So that's good. One thing that really surprised me was that Martin Krebs, Rupert Friend, is on this mission, and he's in the field. He is in the field where the science happens. That's where the science happens, is right there in the field. But yeah, he is bloody. His shirt is, I don't know what his shirt is. Looks like it's got some sort of design on it, but But yeah, he's got a little bit of blood on him. But he's happy. Look at how happy he is. Is he a bad guy? Are those two gonna be bad guys? Will they? Are they gonna be best bros by the end of this and just, throwing our heroes to the wind? And look at how much fun he's having. Dude's having a great time. Love that he's sleeveless. That's awesome. So yeah, the three of these characters are just having a blast. And they got to be looking at a long neck, right? Yeah, Maddox says, I feel like they're seeing a big sauropod. Yeah, they got to be. That's got to be what's happening here. Don't think there's any way around it. Any sneaky things in the long grass? He's got some rope. Necklace. Reminds me of like a scarab from like The Mummy. He's got one of those like paracord bracelets. And he's got like a, hold on a second. Okay, it looks like a different strap. I didn't know if it was going to be the same bag that he had on, but no, it doesn't seem to be. Are there eggs in there? He's a multi-bandana guy. He's got one on his neck, one on his arm. He's got them all over. So, what else we got? Talks about curveballs written into the story. The fact that they come across this family who is adrift or wherever they are, they're stranded now, and they got to look after them. And he says, obviously it all goes wrong and becomes a situation that you enjoy watching as a Jurassic fan. Once you're on the adventure, the film doesn't let go until the edits. The edits and credits. I just kind of edited those words together. The enjoyment of it is in the moment-to-moment chase, escape, scare, horror, curveballs in the whole plotting of the set pieces and dinosaur moments. So, love it. Sounds good. Wonder what these curveballs are going to be. I have no idea. Talks about the computer graphics a little bit and how, there wasn't really a lot in Jurassic Park, so maybe they're going to do some of those tricks for this movie. Just kind of making you feel like things are there, but they're not really there. Or maybe they can just do a little piece of animation and just kind of like tease it a little bit and not have to do an entire creature that's, a lot of VFX shots. So it'll be interesting to see. And then the last thing that we know here is, or the last thing we see at least, is Zora Bennett. She is out of there. She is gone. I don't know where she's going. Everywhere she's going, she's like staring somewhere. She's just staring. What's she staring at? Got a little cord. What's that rope for? What's that gonna do? Gonna trip a raptor? But she's got that container. And she's in a jungle. No dinosaur behind her. But we got this pretty sick vehicle. You may have seen this vehicle floating around the internet before. But this looks really cool. I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome. I'm interested to see how these vehicles pan out and how they play into the movie. Is it going to be a vehicle that... it's got to be a vehicle that's probably there. But I have no idea. It's her lucky rope. It's her lucky string. It's just like a string. It goes up and then it's so small that it hides. Hi. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah, that's true. But she's like, there's a truck right behind me, but I'm gonna just run. So yeah, I don't know, but looks really cool. Can't wait to see these vehicles in motion and see what the heck, where they came from. what they're doing in this movie, and what is this movie about? What is this movie about other than fields? Because that's what I need to know. I should make that my new background, so I can just constantly be streaming in a field. It's a good idea. I'm kind of streaming in the woods. It's not the same, but yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Thinking here live on the spot. But anyway, that seems to be everything from today. So much corn everywhere. But yeah, I'm hyped. This movie looks cool. I just need to know more. I need like, I know they've given us a lot of information, but like, I kind of need more. I just need to see it in action. I need to see what's happening in this movie. So hopefully we get that kind of stuff pretty soon. But in the meantime, I have to go record more. I've recorded already several times today. But please go to our website, JurassicParkPodcast.com. Go find that episode I was talking about connecting Dominion to Rebirth. Is there any connections? Go find out. Go follow us over on Blue Sky, new service that I've been digging here for the podcast. So go check it out. Blue Sky. Just follow us at Jurassic Park Pod, and I am at Brad Jost over there as well. And go find the newsletter on JurassicParkPodcast.com/newsletter. There is a new one coming out. I promise. It's coming soon. Go find my other podcast, Grim Grinning Hosts, where we finally put out a new episode. This time it's about Dinosaur the Ride, and it's about Muppet Vision 3D, Indiana Jones, Haunted Mansion, some other stuff. So yeah, go check out that episode. Really fun time. And then also the Forcecast, the other show I'm on. We're doing weekly episodes currently, Forcecast Plus, where we talk about Skeleton Crew. So that's what I'm going to go do now. Go talk about episode 4. So you'll find that on the feed shortly. But go check out those episodes. But that is everything I have there. Go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all those kinds of places. Here on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, do all this stuff. Share it around with your entire family. Any Jurassic fan out there, let them know. Watch stuff. Go download the podcast itself, because the podcast is all over. And we got, like I said, there is a new, I could probably bring that up, but there is a new episode in the feed currently. Why did it open there? I don't know. Yeah, there is a new one in the feed. You can see it right here. I got the 2 episodes from this week. New Jurassic World information. It's right there. We just talked about it. I maybe went into stuff a little bit deeper because I've been talking a lot today. So I kind of cut it short here on the stream, but I appreciate you sticking around to listen, and thank you so much for everybody being here. Neill is awesome. He is so good. That rope saved Zora's life when she was being chased by the Spinosaurus and fell into the void, but the rope got stuck in the rock, saving her. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, for sure. But that's it. That's all I got. I should rest my voice for like 2 minutes before I got to go record again. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Really, really appreciate it, as always. I was going to say we'll be back next week, but we will not. It's Christmas. But we will be back New Year's Day. Why not? Who cares? We can do it for that. But there will be a podcast on the feed Monday or so. So go check it out. But it'll be our Christmas episode. We do a yearly Christmas spectacular. So go check it out on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. Be kind. Bye.